Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy, and we'll be here with you until 9 o'clock. It's funny, you've got Auburn playing Kentucky on national television. You've got game day there, and Scott and I, as much as we love high school sports, we walk in and we're trying to decide which high school sport that we're going to highlight first here in this first hour of the program. If you're just finding us out there, high school sports is very important to this program, not only SEC, Auburn, and Alabama athletics, but the first hour every Saturday we go through high school sports. And, Scott, when you've got as much going on as we do right now, not only in the local area but statewide, and we're getting prepared with our AHSAA radio network crew to go over and call all the semis and the finals here in a couple of weeks for basketball. It's a wonderful time of year, but I'll bring up all the good stuff, and now I got to go to what wasn't bad stuff, but it was such a close loss for our Benjamin Russell Wildcats against Helena in the regional. Let's start there on the positive side. Benjamin Russell making their second regional in 3 years. They had only made 3 regionals since 1981 before these two, so 5 regionals made by our basketball program and 2 in the last 3 years. That's really saying something. You're coming and doing some things that we've never done. Won our 3rd area championship in a row, had never done that in school history to win, and that goes as far back as you're willing to go and look. I know we had a great basketball program in the 50s and 60s, but didn't win 3 area titles in a row even then, Scott. So start there, start with the positives. Wildcats had another great season.
Yeah, and, you know, we've talked about it before, and when Coach Freeman took the job, really, I mean, for those who don't know, that's my uncle, but something I tasked him with was, you know, I would just like Benjamin Russell to have the same cachet that it does with football. It doesn't necessarily have to have the same mystique, but when people play Benjamin Russell, it's not somebody they're just scheduling to try to get a win. Like, I actually want us to have a program. And the first year didn't go that well. They go 3-17, but something happened during that season at the tail end that really was a catalyst for the success we've seen over the last 3 years, which was it brought up some 8th graders, including Chris Foster, Malcolm Simmons, and Gabe Benton, who's a part of some of these runs as well, and got them some experience and realized that if I was going to win, then these were the guys that were going to help. And so getting them an opportunity to play as immediately as possible was very important. But saying all that to say, I feel very comfortable moving forward with the success of the program, with what will be coming back, and we can start there. I think one of the highlights of this season, and particularly during this playoff run, was Elijah Johnson and Cedarian Morgan, 2 sophomores from Benjamin Russell who will be household names in the local area. They already are, but I think on the collegiate level you'll definitely continue to hear Cedarian Morgan, and you have a 3-sport athlete in Elijah Johnson. So I feel very comfortable in saying that we'll be okay. But Wednesday's loss was very was disappointing, you know. But at the same time, hats off to Helena. Played a heck of a basketball game, and I think if you wanted to see that style of play, you got to see a really good game.
You know, I'll start with style of play. Watching Helena play it's miserable defensively what they do to you, because they're so aggressive in man, and it's pretty much full court, wasn't it, Scott? But the inability to get a true open shot from the perimeter for, you know, I can't remember. You're kind of in that generation a little bit between me going to college, so I don't remember seeing you play much. But I know for myself, if you man me up and you got in my body and I didn't get good open shots, I was in trouble. And I had that sense the other day. Now, luckily, we've got some athletes that can break you down and go make some plays, but I'll start with that. I thought if there was one thing that I was more impressed with Helena, and we'll go to their 2 key players that scored 55 of their 70 points. But
so that was the number. I've been trying to figure out what it was.
I've got the number here. And, so they had 55 of the 70. But I want to start with their defense. I thought, you know, they held us to 65 points. And we only lost 4 games on the season, 2 of those out of state. We're able to score the basketball. I think a lot of the games that we only scored 70-some-odd points was when we really slowed it down and just didn't do a lot to close the game out. Now, you've seen all of them. I've seen most of them on NFHS, but just your thoughts on that. I was impressed defensively with Helena.
Yeah, and they made things a little uncomfortable for us, and so there was I thought we matched up very well from an athletic standpoint.
Agreed.
But just from a pure just basketball player, we haven't seen somebody like Josh Williams, and I forget the other guy's name, number 20 for Helena, but we'd seen that kind of guy, kind of a wing guy who could get some, somebody who could score from the perimeter, but just getting a bucket anywhere you wanted to on the floor was something we haven't really seen all year. And there was some uncontested shots. I can't say that, that all of them were contested, but the majority of them, he had somebody in his face, or, he would drive and he was hitting a 10, 12-foot jumper. And that's something you don't see a lot in high school basketball anymore with the style of play you see. It's really more layups and three-pointers. That's what you're looking for. Not a lot of, 10, 12-footers, mid-range game type of players. And, the kid could go, and I was very impressed with him. And, they played 6 guys. We played 6. It wasn't like that they decided these were going to be the guys that if we lost or won, this is who it was with. And so I don't have a problem with that at all. And they just said we lose by 5, but it could have gotten a lot worse. And that's something I do want to say. There was a time where maybe previously with some of these guys – or with the team, you could have really gotten out of hand. But I think it shows some real maturity, and not necessarily just from the seniors, but some of those underclassmen I was referring to, especially Elijah. I think we've got a dog coming with him, and it made me actually feel better about football, honestly, seeing what he'd be capable of doing as somebody who we presume will be the quarterback. But Benjamin Russell played well. I don't think they played badly. They just didn't make enough shots at the end. But there was a 3-pointer at the end of the third quarter that made the lead go from 4 to 7, and that was kind of where it stayed the rest of the game.
Josh Williams had 34 points. A lot of those kind of mid-range game. You don't see a ton of mid-range game anymore, and he's 6'3", 6'4". He's got a really good build to him. He's got an athletic build. I'm not saying he's a bulky build. He's got a perfect basketball build for 6'3" or 6'4". Plays physical. Helena, all of their players were, physically matched up pretty well with ours. They had a nice post game that able to rebound, at least keep up with Sedarian rebounding the basketball. I don't know how tall he was, but he looked to be 6'6", 6'7" down in the post, and really, really long, 6'6", 6'7". But Josh Williams with 34, I'm with you. I can't remember 20's name, but 12 of his 20 points, actually 12 of his 21 points come from the free throw line. And when he went to the free throw line, and I'll give you, my son and I were watching the game. I got him off the bus. I had to get my kids off the bus on Wednesday, and so we went back and we put it up on TV, and he sat down. He wanted to watch the second half with me, and it's not like I had to say sit there, so he was cheering. He was saying, boy, if we win this game, if we hit this 3, I'm going to be running around in the neighborhood. And I say, yeah, I bet you will be. But the point that I was making to him, who loves basketball, this is why free throws are so important. Because watch 20. You know he's about to go up there and make them. I know he's about to go up there and make them. Everybody in that gym knows he's about to go up there and make them. And when you got a guy like that, Scott, that you can lean on when things are tight, because, tip the hat to us. We kept going down and getting 2-point buckets and cutting the lead to 4, to 5, to 6. We were in it, almost one possession game in certain situations. But he just kept stepping up to the free throw line. When I tell you he was hitting nothing but the bottom, that thing wasn't touching the rim or anything. And that told me a lot about his basketball play. Yeah,
and, there's sometimes when a guy, he can make free throws, not that he's not comfortable, but there's a confidence that comes with it. I want to be on the line at this stage of the game. And there was no flinching. There was no anything. He wanted the ball so he could get fouled because we had to. And, when we had gotten it down to 3 a couple different times, I was like, man, if just foul somebody but him. But they couldn't. There was they made sure to get him the ball.
It was coached up for that. Yeah, you could tell the inbounds passes were coached up to make sure that it was set up for him. So they knew that. 70-65, Helena wins. Our leading scorer, senior Chris Foster, had 18 points. He had 3 threes. I was proud for Chris. he walked into work the next morning after the loss, and I said, man, I hate it. And he said, oh, it's all right. You know, these kids, especially if they play as many sports as some of ours do, you hate to lose, but it's not the end of the world, and you could sense that from him. He gave it his all. He had a great, great career, 1,000-plus point scorer, could really shoot the ball from the perimeter, played a lot of basketball in Maroon, and played a lot of football. So Chris, tremendous athlete. Malcolm Simmons had 12. Cedarian Morgan had 16. Cedarian's a high flyer. He's become something to watch. He's a highlight reel all in his own. I think as the years move on, you know, here's the thing about Cedarian I was also saying, and we kind of, you know, we're talking about this while we were watching the game the other day. Cedarian's really a guard. Now, he's got to go down there and rebound for Benjamin Russell, because who the heck you going to throw down there to rebound that's got a frame like that? So it'll be fun to watch the next couple of years, as I say that, what all is done with him from an offensive standpoint, because I do think he brings a Caleb Holt-type skill set to the game, doesn't he?
Oh, I think that – I mean, Elijah's your point guard, but I feel very confident in saying that he'll be playing on the perimeter. He'll still do some things to post some guys up if it's there, but there are some guys who got some playing time late in the year who, if they can develop, they have the size and frame to be able to get you some rebounds, so you're able to pull Cedarian out and let him be a true wing player. He's a decent perimeter shooter who could become a really good perimeter shooter if given the opportunity to really do so. And a lot of the guys that he would be that are defenders of his won't match up with him athletically. So I think that the Wildcats are good to go. And then there's a young group. I know we're up against the break, but there's some younger guys that are coming up, and it seems like there's an emergence of new basketball infatuation in our community, and I'm very excited to see that.
70-65 loss, great season though, regional appearance, and congratulations to Helena, who moves on to the Elite Eight. We'll have a lot more basketball coming up in the next few segments. We've got wrestling to talk about. They're in their state championships in Huntsville. It looks like we've got a really good chance in 7A for the first Huntsville wrestling squad to win a state championship since 2004, Scott. It's going to happen. If you look at the points, barring some kind of catastrophe and Vestavia winning every single final that they've gotten themselves into, it's going to be Huntsville winning the state championship for the first time. They won the duels too. So great squad up there and everything. Basketball, wrestling now. I'm sure football's to come. We'll go ahead and take a break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Just moving into our second segment of the show. Talked a lot about Benjamin Russell's loss to Helena, but a great season moving to the regionals. In the first segment, we're going to run down all of the regional action right here on this segment. So if you've got phone calls you'd like to make, topics you'd like us to discuss, 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Phone lines will be open the entire 2 hours of the program today. Starting in Class 1A, it's going to be Elba taking on Leroy on the girls' side. 1A boys going to be Georgiana taking on McIntosh. I've been keeping up with Georgiana on the year. They've got a very athletic squad. And, Scott, here's the beauty of basketball. You've grown up. You didn't go to Coosa, but you grew up with a mama that was around Coosa and an uncle that was at Coosa for a very long time. You can get outstanding basketball teams in 1A, 2A basketball if you get 3 or 4 solid players and 3 or 4 contributors to go with it. And Georgiana's one that I've been watching all year. They're going to be close to doing that.
Yeah, if you're fortunate, a lot of times in your lower classifications, you're really dependent on one guy. You're lucky if you get 2, but some of these squads that get 3 or 4, it makes it very difficult from a depth standpoint to really stick with them like that.
Starting in the South Regional right here, and in Class 2A girls, going to be Cottonwood taking on Laverne, and on the boys' side, it's going to be Clark County taking on Highland Home. Highland Home, a program not only in football but now in basketball and other. When you can get a run of athletes, you can win.
Mm-hmm. And they've got them. They've got them.
They definitely do. You can see on the college side how many of us want some of their players. On the Class 3A girls, this is in the South Regional. Strong takes on Cottage Hill, and then Hillcrest Evergreen on the boys' side takes on Cottage Hill. I've seen Cottage Hill. We've called some semifinals with Cottage Hill. They're from a neck of the woods where you've got a lot of great athletes that you can pull from. Now they're getting disseminated around a bunch of different programs down there, but that's a small private school setup that can really win a lot of basketball games with Cottage Hill Christian. Class 4A girls, that one looks to be on Wednesday. They didn't have the exact matchups there for the 4A girls and the 4A boys. Class 5A girls in the South Regional, it's Eufaula taking on Gulf Shores. I don't remember calling Gulf Shores girls basketball so far. Do you?
Nah, they're
about to get good in everything.
Yeah, I was about to say they're real close to being pretty dominant in across the board.
South Regional Class 5A boys going to be Viger taking on Charles Henderson. Charles Henderson was there last year. A great run of athletes at Charles Henderson. They'd like to get over the hump. They gave Valley, I think, in the semis all that they wanted. I think I called that game last year. And
they're back too.
Look, that could be another matchup. And the Class 6A girls in the South Regional is going to be Pike Road taking on Park Crossing. And the Class 6A boys, Park Crossing, taking on Carver Montgomery. So those 2 teams out of Montgomery on the boys' side getting through. Good to see, Scott, because it feels like it's been a major down year in public schools in Montgomery, especially in football. Did we have anyone over in the public school system that we really thought, which has been odd because
I may be wrong on Lanier.
I don't think did we have anybody that was really competing over there. So it's good to see both getting to the South Regional Final in Park Crossing and Carver Montgomery. Class 7A girls in the South Regional is Prattville taking on Enterprise, and the boys, it's Baker taking on Enterprise. I want to start there with Prattville. Prattville from a football standpoint, is as low as I've seen. Now, can they turn the tide? I expect them to. I know that it means a lot to that community, and I know they've got a lot of old coaches that are coming back, and it's important to them. But basketball, from the girls' standpoint, they're better than they've ever been. They made it to the Final Four last year. They're primed with a good opportunity this year. Scott, my point is, back to my Montgomery statement, because you're bad in one sport doesn't mean that you're bad in all of them. And at times you've got to embrace those things that are good runs for you. And right now, Prattville girls basketball, I know it's hard for you to keep up with all of this, but I'm posting on a daily basis. They're really good. The two teams that are getting in, though, Enterprise got an outstanding athletic program. And in basketball, I don't know if many of you know this, that is one of the best basketball programs in the state. They won 7A 2 years ago. I think they may have lost in the regional final last year that kept them out, but they're there. They're there all the time, aren't they, Scott?
Yeah, and, you know, you make a good point about sometimes where just because you're bad in one sport doesn't mean that you can't be good in another. And a lot of times it may be a sport that you're not traditionally good at, so it takes, you know, some getting used to being able to sport. Not that they don't get the sport, but you look up and Prattville's got a chance to be in the Final Four in girls basketball. Yeah, it's like, all right, like this may be something, so maybe we need to invest more. And so it causes you to get more attention. But Prattville in general is poised for some growth from a population standpoint, which means they'll probably start to get some larger enrollment there for them and a larger access of athletes. I think that they're probably positioned better than some of the schools in Montgomery to receive some of that growth, especially with some of what we're seeing. We'll talk about that later, but with some legislation potential that could allow that. Prattville's just poised for that. They're doing a lot of great things, and we're fortunate to have a campus there at Central Alabama Community College. So seeing it up close and personal, how much they're investing in the future of their community.
Well, two schools and two thoughts as you're talking there. Thompson Wrestling. Thompson Wrestling came from nowhere, didn't have a program in the mid-2000s to now they're one of the top programs in the entire Southeast, and that was a buy-in, and I think that led to great athletic programs up and down the line there. And we're gonna talk SEC basketball. We're gonna talk Auburn and Alabama basketball in the second hour of the program. Alabama's had a fair, an above-average run even when they've been bad, but we've been terrible at Auburn until Bruce Pearl shows up. Outside of one little minor stretch under Cliff Ellis. Pretty much my entire life outside of the mid-'80s where Sonny Smith had a good little run. But now, like you said, it's almost expected. If Auburn doesn't get to the 20-win plateau, it's a major disappointment. If they weren't to make the NCAA tournament, major disappointment. So sometimes your buy-in does have to change, doesn't it? Central Regional, you saw a lot of this. Bill Harris Arena, good setup, good facility to be in.
Yeah, it was a good basketball environment. Like it was kind of close-knit, the way the floor, and it took a little bit for both teams to get adjusted, just kind of the way the layout is of the goals. But saying that, like from a fan's perspective.
Was it great?
Yeah, it was really good.
It sounded like all the fans were right on top, including behind the bucket. So hopefully that continues.
And shout out to Helena. I do want to say this. Like, I want to kudos to Benjamin Russell. We brought the community was full-fledged, all the students from the middle school and high school and just community in general. But Helena's student section was pretty strong, and they were very influential in the outcome of the game too. I'll say that they were very, very in it from the beginning.
Yeah, NFHS on that side. So the video shot was on the Helena side. So I mean, I was blown away by how many fans they had there, and you could tell it must have been pretty packed in there from both sides. So it was a good environment for a regional basketball game. Go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll run down 6A to 1A. Got all the regional scores in, so the matchups are set for the regional finals to lead to the Final Four that will happen at the Legacy Arena over in Birmingham here in the next couple of weeks. We look forward to being over there and calling that with our radio network. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that contain any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika has a massive inventory of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Every make, every model. Quality pre-owned vehicles are available at Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram. Located at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika and online at opelikaFordChrysler.com.
Moving into the Central Regional, didn't quite get started with that. It was over in Birmingham. Class 1A girls is going to be Keith taking on Calhoun, and in the boys' side, Calhoun taking on South Lamar. Class 2A girls, Locust Fort, outstanding in every sport it feels like right now, taking on what has become a norm for me, it feels like, Cold Springs, 26-4 on the season. They'll take on one another in a regional final. On the boys' side, Locust Fort taking on Altamont. That one will be played on Tuesday. Central Regional Class 3A girls, St. James takes on Trinity Presbyterian. It's a great St. James team. If memory serves me correct from Players of the Week, Eva Card is a senior. I think her father's the coach or maybe one of the coaches. I apologize out there. It's hard to remember all of this, but great, solid inside force for them, so they'll be a tough out there, but they'll play someone I'm sure they know really well in Trinity Presbyterian. In Class 3A boys, Sumter Central. I've gotten so much information from them, and I can't thank all of the parents and the coaches and stuff here in the state that have sent me information, because I promise you, we want to spotlight them, don't we, Scott? But if I don't have information and stuff's not coming into the state office, what do I spotlight? You know, there's few and far between when it comes down to local newspapers and local news outlets that have the ability to cover as much as they did at one time when you and I were growing up. So we need to hear from you out there, and Sumter Central is one that has stepped up. They've sent me some awesome pictures.
This isn't Sumter County. This is another school within Sumter County.
Yes, that's right. Sumter Central, and they're 21-3 now in the season. They'll take on Trinity. Trinity is making it through. They're 18-9. That's the 3A boys. 4A girls and boys will be played the first of next week, so we don't know the matchups there. Valley will take on Demopolis on the boys' side in 5A. In the girls' side, it's Marbury taking on Brubaker Tech. Class 6A girls, Hillcrest Tuscaloosa versus Pelham. You saw Pelham, didn't you?
Yeah.
They were matched up with Chilton County. Yeah. Was it before the game or after?
Before the game.
Tell me a little bit about Pelham.
They're good. And Chilton County was a top 10 team. I mean, like they both were very good, but they're very athletic. They can shoot, and they play really, really good defense. I mean, up on you the entire game type of defense, but they can shoot really well.
So Class 6A girls will be a great matchup on the central side. Class 6A boys, you've seen Helena. They're now 23-7 taking on McAdory. McAdory really getting one of the biggest upsets maybe here of the tournament so far. Paul Bryant, once I saw them out there playing, I remembered calling them last year. They made it through. They've got a big 6'5" point guard that is lengthy and has put up a ton of points and rebounds over his career. They go down on a three-point. Did you see how it played out?
Yeah, there was a foul. But they ended up shooting a free throw to win the game.
They had an and one.
Yeah, it was a point.
So there's the and one to tie.
Yeah.
And then steps to the free throw line, knocks down the free throw, and McAdory moves through to the regional final to take on Helena. That will be a massive crowd.
That was what I was going to say. It was very heavy McAdory before we got in there, and rightfully so. But I think that they're a team that could win it. Like they look good, don't they? They've got three guys who are 6'4", 6'5", or more, and like you go have to come see them. But
Helena's that way too.
Yeah, I mean, and it could. I don't know. I felt I wanted in Benjamin Russell's. Had they gone, I would have rather played McAdory than Bryant.
Yeah.
But McAdory looks poised to make a run, and that'll be a really good matchup between them and Helena.
Class 7A girls, this is on the Central Regional, by the way. It's Auburn, 25-4, taking on Foley, 19-7. Auburn girls with a chance. They made it a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't have the numbers in front of me. When they get up to Birmingham, but this is a squad with Sarai Daniels as a senior. The Auburn commit, Marquise Daniels' daughter, averaging 25 points a game. They got the Hallman point guard that's averaging about 19 a game. It's a good Auburn squad. You've seen them several times. How about the Auburn girls squad?
They're probably the best girls team I've seen all year. I mean, I've watched a lot of girls games, and so, but when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to say girls team, but like they're good, and like they play a style. Not to go off on a tangent, but I was talking to my cousin who's got a little 5-year-old girl coming through, and he was like, who are some teams that I can go watch to see like how you're supposed to do it? And I was like, you go down there to Auburn and you'll see how a program is really being run from the bottom up. And so anyway, saying that, Soraya hopefully has a good chance to finally get over the hump and get a championship.
Yep. Class 7A boys, this is a matchup that happens 2, 3, 4 times every year, and it's going to be Phoenix City taking on Auburn. Auburn beat them for the area championship, came from 11 behind late to win that game, beat them in the regular season as well. Phoenix City's 26-6. They made the championship game last year, and it was a good championship game. Here's what happened last year. Auburn won the regular season games. They end up in this regional final. Phoenix City won. They're the one that moves on to the Final Four. Exact same setup again this year as Auburn's 26-5. You've seen Auburn. We haven't seen Phoenix City, but you know the matchup's got to be pretty close. That'll be a great one, won't it?
Yeah. Just two teams who are as familiar with the opponent as you can be. But I think that Auburn, I don't know. I think that this is Auburn's time, in both the boys and girls. I think that there's a good opportunity for Auburn to get to the Final Four, and once you're there, then, anything can happen at that
Northeast
point.
Regional, let's move to that. It'll be Spring Garden taking on Skyline. Spring Garden 30-1. Ace Austin, her dad's the coach. She's the Alabama commit. She's a straight star. She's been a star since she was in the 7th grade, and they'll have a really good chance to win another state championship there. Class 1A boys, Spring Garden, 27-4, taking on Skyline. So the girls and the boys in that Class 1A Northeast Regional playing against one another, exact same teams. Class 2A girls, Eider versus Pisgah. Pisgah always there. They're 21-10, maybe a few more losses than they normally have, but always in it. Gaston in Class 2A boys taking on Lafayette. Have you seen Lafayette this year?
I haven't, but I've heard from Horseshoe Bend.
I have too.
And, you know, they're good. I mean, granted, now Horseshoe Bend played them pretty tough, even in the area tournament, but they've got a good shot. And surprisingly, you know, not surprised, but it's been Lynette for a little while, and now Lafayette seems to be emerging as that team in that region.
Class 5A girls, we've skipped 3A and 4A. They're not set for the Northeast Regional yet. Southside taking on Scottsboro on the girls' side. On the boys' side, it's Gunnersville taking on Scottsboro. Scottsboro they're a really good athletic program. They won indoor track. They're winning in basketball, made it to a regional final. And then we'll go through wrestling here in the next. I think they're winning in wrestling too. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
In a 5A school, Scott, to win, to have that many athletes, let that sink in, because you're sharing athletes. None of those three sports you can play. Yeah, I guess you can play basketball and do indoor track, can't you? Yeah, you can.
We've got somebody.
Yeah, we do. And I think there are some around there, but that's hard to win in every one of them in the same calendar year.
Yeah, and I mean, again, especially in that classification where you're not really large enough to where you could just have specialists who are just doing those sports. So you're right, you're sharing guys across the board.
Northeast Regional, we got one more regional after this. Class 6A girls at Shades Valley taking on Huffman. Class 6A boys, you know these two programs know each other extremely well. It's Mountain Brook 25-6. Taking on Homewood 24-8. A great matchup. Will be a big crowd there, I'm sure. I haven't seen those two teams play yet this year, but I did notice something. Ty Davis, who I think is the #1 recruited senior that's committed to Creighton, he only had 7 points, I think, in that regional game, but his younger brother had 22. So there's another Davis kid coming up through the ranks, and those that follow Mountain Brook and are in that area probably know a lot better than us, but it's always interesting to us because we get close to this time and we really start watching to see what these teams have. So that one will be a great matchup in an area that knows each other extremely well. Let's finish out Northeast, and then we'll go to the last regional in the next segment. It's Hewitt-Trussville, great team. Point guards committed to Auburn University. Super team taking on Chelsea. Both of these teams 26-5 on the season, Scott.
Chelsea really good. Really not to dismiss, but Chelsea's really good.
You've seen them.
Yeah, I started watching some of I like to just watch to see who's going to be there. So I'll go in FHS and watch some older games, but they're good.
Huntsville, 31-2, takes on Grissom. They know each other really well. And Class 7A boys, Huntsville's been #1 for quite some time. They're 31-2 on the season, so that will be the regional final there. Go and take another break. When we come back, we'll run down the Northwest Regional, and we'll have you set for the regional finals in all of these basketball games.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Sportz Night Guard. Now, the Sportz Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Sportz Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Scott, we got one more regional that we want to set for everyone out there. If you've been out to basketball games, we'd love to hear from you. If you're going to catch a regional final, maybe head over to the Final Four at the Legacy Arena coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll join you there. Our AHSAA Radio Network crew, along with WOTM and FHS. There'll be a lot of different outlets, PBS, there's APT. There's a lot of different outlets that you can pull up these championship runs for your teams out there. So if you got comments, call us in. Northwest Regional taking place at Wallace-Hansville. Bell Green and 1A girls will take on Marion County. Class 1A boys final will be Shoals Christian taking on Covenant Christian. Class 2A girls, Decatur Heritage takes on Mars Hill. Mars Hill, your defending state champion. Bell Hill is their leading scorer. She was a 7th grader last year. She was the tournament MVP as a 7th grader. She's an 8th grader this year. She's already scored over 2,000 points in her career. Brett and I made mention a couple of weeks ago that Courtney Strain owns the state record for girls scoring right under 6,000 points. You got over 2,000 in 8th grade, you're going to be ticking up close to that mark here in the next couple of years. Scott, that was one of those stats where you go, ain't no way somebody can score 5,700 high school points. But she's got a good chance, doesn't she?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to visualize this. I mean, I've seen some guys who in the 8th grade have come up to play, and like they may be talented, but you can tell that they're younger than everybody they're playing, and just to have that type of dominance immediately as a 7th grader, now getting to the 8th grade, yeah, I think there's a very good chance she could break the record.
And she's already physically, I mean, she's a good physical build already, good height. She's got what you're looking for, and they will be a tough out in 2A girls, Mars Hill Bible. Class 2A boys, Tanner will take on Mars Hill Bible. Mars Hill Bible, 22-5 on the girls' side, 24-2 on the boys' side. Great athletic program up and down up in the Florence area. Class 3A girls, Clements versus Lauderdale County. Lauderdale County with only one loss on the season, but it had to happen recently. They were undefeated for a long time of the year. So Clements has a chance there in the regional final, taking on Lauderdale County. Class 3A boys, see them every time, all the time. Used to be Coosa's kind of nemesis too, Midfield. Class 3A boys is Danville taking on Midfield. You'll look at Midfield's record. They're 22-9. You'll say they're beatable, but half of those 9 losses, or more than half of those 9 losses, are coming against 5 and 6A programs there in Birmingham. Scott, always a great basketball program.
They've been for a decade. I mean, and even after the coaching staff left and they go to Pennsylvania, like, I mean, they've been able to still keep it going. But they're very good.
Yes,
very
they
good.
are. Class 5A girls, we're in the Northwest Regional. Jasper takes on Pleasant Grove. Class 5A boys, talking about always there. Ramsey. Ramsey's 23-8 taking on Fairfield. Now this
You love Ramsey. That's
I love their style of basketball. I really do. I like their coach. I don't know him personally, but I like the way that he interacts over there. I just like the style that they play. And, yes, I'm intrigued by Ramsey. Ramsey's one of those schools I'd like to ask about. My good friend Steve Ward went there. And Steve hopefully will be calling some games with me, Huffman's head coach, in the next couple of weeks. It's an interesting setup. And, maybe we'll talk about it in the second hour with school choice deal. But Ramsey had to have been set up for a lot of reasons around that. Am I wrong, Scott, up in Birmingham? I don't know if you know the background, but, Ramsey is an elite high school here in this state from an academic and an athletic standpoint. And it's one that if you don't cover sports or if you aren't from that area, you may not know that.
I didn't know on the academics. I mean, I've seen some things where, anyway, Brandon Woodfin was very high on the school, and there was some talk about that. This was maybe a year ago. They were talking about they were going to try to shut it down or move them to somewhere else. But saying that, that's an interesting story. But I do want to touch on that when we go.
We will. We'll talk about that in the second hour. Class 6A girls, it's Hartselle taking on Hazel Green. Good luck, Hartselle. Good luck, everyone in the state. Hazel Green, I think, going for 7 in a row in Class 6A. Scott was telling me during the break he had a friend asking me that's got a 5-year-old daughter, who do I need to go and which programs out there do I need to go see and see what kind of system they run. I can give you one quick answer. In the state of Alabama, go watch Crystal Johnson at Hoover and go watch Tim Miller at Hazel Green. They're the best two. It's not close. There are some outstanding girls coaches up and down, but those two right there, Crystal Johnson at Hoover, National Coach of the Year this past year, absolutely love the style of play that they play there at Hoover. And Tim Miller, I have made a lot of posts on the AHSAA from a historical standpoint. Scott, 6 of the best defensive years in girls high school basketball are all Tim Miller-led teams. So from a defensive standpoint, yes, he's got very good athletes, but from a defensive standpoint, he coaches the game better than just about anybody, and they will be a very tough out there in 6A. Coleman taking on Buckhorn. I told you during the break if there was a game I could go pick to watch, it would be Coleman taking on Buckhorn. Coleman's 23-8, Buckhorn's 26-5. Buckhorn won the state championship last year. They got a top 5 recruit in the country in the sophomore class in Caleb Holt. He took over the 6A tournament last year, 30-plus points in both of those games, beat Mountain Brook with 30-plus points in the final. Coleman, we know the style of play that they play. Coach Studeman had them win a state championship a couple of years ago. He's moving over from Mountain Brook there to Coleman. So the intriguing part of this is the way they play. Can you play Caleb Holt that way? That's the storyline. Will he get 40 if you want to get this in an up and down battle? Also, who do you have that can match up with him? That'll be a great matchup, Scott.
Yeah, a little more familiar with Coleman. Ben Rose had an opportunity to play them early in the year. Seen a little bit outside of what we saw last year with Caleb Holt and Buckhorn. But I'm with you. I think you go into it and say, listen, I'm okay to concede that he's going to get his 40 and nobody else, like they may not score but 50 points and it's going to all come 40 from him. So I think you have to decide that. But if they're going to go up and down, I don't know. That's going to be a really good game.
It'll be fun to see from a defensive standpoint, what they do, because, Coleman does want to run. I know it's a little bit different, but they want to run that Mountain Brook system, and it's full court defensive pressure, man in your face. It can be tough to get shots off against that pressure, but they've got to have someone that, if you want to do that, you got to have someone to match a dude like Holt, and will they have somebody like that? Finishing out Northwest Regional, it's going to be Hoover taking on Bob Jones in the girls' side. What a game. If you like girls' basketball, go watch that one. Hoover taking on Bob Jones. Bob Jones 28-3. Hoover's 25-7, which seems down for them. They lost Renai Kelly. They lost a lot of seniors last year. They lost 3 or 4 games early in the season in the first 10 games. And Crystal Johnson's righted the ship, and good luck beating them. And it's Hoover on the boys' side taking on Thompson. This is a Hoover team. I called their semifinal game last year. I probably told you, and I told anyone that wanted to hear, if Hoover loses a 7A state championship in the next 2 years, I'd be shocked. because last year they were led by two dynamic sophomores. The one that I like the most, Salim London. His dad played at Alabama. He's a wing player. He really can go. Hoover's 27-3. I still think it's theirs to lose there in Class 7A, and they'll play Thompson, that they know really well in all sports. So that's got you set for regional championship games coming up. When we come back, one more segment of high school sports. We'll run down wrestling that's currently going on up in Huntsville.
Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika invites you to discover extraordinary deals like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 Pro, now up to $12,500 off. Purchase the roomy GMC Terrain SLT, discounted up to $8,750 off. And the GMC Acadia with 3-row seating, discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till summertime at Glenn Smith GMC. Over 300 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
It's truck season at Sarah Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At Sarah Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at Sarah Honda, Tony Sarah Ford, Sarah Nissan, and Sarah Chevrolet.
Wrestling championships going on at Huntsville's Von Braun Center. Massive place there, a wonderful event that's been going on there for quite some years now. And this is always fun to cover, Scott. It's always a lot more fun when you've got a team that's competing and heading into Saturday with a chance to win a state title. Unfortunately for Benjamin Russell this year, we only sent 3 wrestlers to the state tournament, which is totally abnormal. Coach Ransall does a great job here. We normally send 9, 10, 11 wrestlers to the state tournament, and we've been in the lead going into the final day multiple times over the last decade. I don't think we've won a state championship since the early 80s, but we finished second here recently, and we finished third a number of times. So great program, but unfortunately today is not our day that we're going to be watching to see if we win a state championship, but a lot of them out there are. And I'll start with Huntsville High School. Huntsville has not had a state champion in their city for wrestling since 2004. They're going to win one today. In Class 7A, they've got 191.5 points going into the final day. They got the 2 Simon brothers and many others wrestling in the finals. Is they'll send 6 to the state finals today. Back up, or the runner-up right now, or the second-place team in the state is Thompson, and they're almost 40 points behind Huntsville. So Huntsville's going to get this thing done. Scott, they're a program that's on the up and up. Can they get their football to where they've got the rest of these? Because they're in a regional final in basketball, 31-2, number 1 team in state. We're going to talk about Scottsboro here in a minute. All of these winter sports, they're competing for championships. Huntsville. Can they get their football to that? I know that's not the time to bring that up, but an impressive school right now athletically.
Yeah, and I think that it's inevitable that it will take place. Just we're talking about Prattville and their growth. Well, Huntsville is the fastest growing. I mean, like, that's where people are going just from the job market and the quality of life and the things they're providing there. But that area will continue to be a highlight from an athletic standpoint moving forward.
Class 7A, so it's Huntsville 1, Thompson 2. Number 3 team in the state going into the final days, Hewitt-Trussville. 4 is Bob Jones. 5, Vestavia Hills. Now, Vestavia did win the state championship last year, so a slight step back, but still a very good representation of how great that program is there at Vestavia as they're going into the final day in 5th. In Class 6A, let's move down to that. It's Mountain Brook. Mountain Brook, I asked my dad yesterday, we growing up in the late 60s, early 70s, like he did wrestling here, which programs were great then and compared. And he said, in the 70s, Mountain Brook had a really good wrestling program, and it's not something that is new. But Mountain Brook, they've taken their wrestling program to a whole different level, winning the dual championships. They'll go into the final day today with a 29-point lead in the 6A side over Mortimer Jordan. Homewood comes in at 3rd, 128.5. So Mountain Brook's with a hefty lead going into the final day to win a 6A state championship. 1A through 4A, it's Weaver, 115.5. They're coming in at 2nd right now is Asheville. Corner stands at 3rd. Dora comes in at 4. So all of those teams are in striking distance, though, to Weaver in 1A through 5A. So that will be interesting to watch in the final day. Class 5A competition got underway yesterday, so it's just now getting kicked off. But in Class 5A, Scottsboro, I ask you, did you know Scottsboro's got this great an athletic program? I didn't realize it until I start talking now. They won indoor track and field easily. They're in the regional final in basketball. Now they're leading going into the final day in wrestling. That's hard to do in class. That's very hard to do in the same school in a lower class. Now, if you're at Auburn or if you're at Hoover and you got 2,400 students in the top 3, there's a lot to go around there. You can kind of see it. But in a 5A school, it's hard to believe that there's that many athletes to go around, but there clearly is. And Scottsboro goes into the final day. Very close behind, though, is Jasper. They're at 115, Scottsboro at 119.5, and in 3rd right here in our local market, Tallahassee. Tallahassee's got 94.5. So Tallahassee's in the thick of things, only 25 points behind current leader in Scottsboro, so that will be a lot of fun. Your thoughts as we close out wrestling?
I didn't realize either, just kind of going back with Scottsboro, I didn't realize the caliber of programs, not program, but programs across the board. But from a wrestling standpoint, very similar to what we see in other sports. The teams that you or programs you consistently hear are the same ones that are year in, year out, and so they've built a culture, and wrestling is one that you can't just pick up one day and say, hey, I want to be good in wrestling. Like, that really has to be a foundational implementation of how you build that program, and so clearly these communities are doing a great job of supporting that and building these programs.
Well, a lot of these great wrestlers, it's a year-round sport now, and they compete nationally. They go regionals all over tournaments. They do different styles of wrestling, and I keep up with it through some track wrestling stuff that ends up on social media. And we've got some travel programs and some premier programs here in the state. And actually, on our Lake Martin Sports Roundup this upcoming week, I met with the Elk City Youth Wrestling Program. They were on the show with us. Eric Miller, who's really helped with that, and Danny James brought the kids out. And he made a mention that it didn't catch me off guard, but it was something of note, and we see it in other sports. Some of these bigger areas have these big facilities that have the training program that the kids that want to do it on a year-round basis have. And, you know, local to here in Alex City is probably Auburn, and they've got the Takedown Club. And Eric was saying, look, we are cheering our kids on that want to continue with this to go and to find somewhere like that. You know, I bring that up because you've got a good friend over in Birmingham that's engaged in something like that on a year-round basis, in Riley Pike. With Thompson, that's what they did in Alabaster. They created one of the top youth programs in the entire state, and it's led to multiple championships, hasn't it? So it's different than what you and I grew up with. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking during the break about, you know, building programs and getting wrestlers out, and I was, you know, when I was in school, and I guess probably during your time too, it was like, you know, a lot of your wrestlers were people too who didn't play a second sport if they were football, and they made sure that their linemen and linebackers who maybe didn't play a second sport, so it gave them numbers, A, but then two, it conditioned you to be better for football the next year. And I think that the success we're seeing from football, hopefully we can get some of these guys and translate that over. But what I'd love to see us do that across the board in all of our sports. But wrestling's one where we have such a strong tradition, and I think support is there. And so not that we're not doing a great job. I think that we're poised to continue to kind of bring it back to where it used to be.
256-234-6221 is our phone number. Just finishing up the first hour of the program today. It's been all high school talk. If you got comments around any of that, first segment of the show we talked about Helena's win over Benjamin Russell in the regional, 70-65, but a great season for our local team here, making another regional and another area championship, the third one in a row. So we've already talked about that, but if you've got comments on that, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to move in, hopefully welcome in Luke Robinson here shortly to give us an update on Alabama athletics, and then Scott and I will move into mainly Auburn basketball here and maybe some other state news that Scotty has his hands around that he can pass along to us out there from a legislative standpoint in the second hour of the program. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here or you can shop us online, only at Glori's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Scott, we've come a long way in college basketball in this state. Walk in on a Saturday morning, you got Alabama, who still could be considered one of the front runners for the SEC championship in basketball, and you've got Auburn that's right there in the thick of things again to possibly win another SEC championship in the regular season. Massive matchup against Kentucky, where you feel like if you play well and you do what we currently do at home, you got a really good chance to win. You have to pinch yourself at a certain point. I know Luke keeps getting on to me. He says, just stop it. This is the norm now. Quit bringing it up. But I still have got a lifetime full of desperate memories for an Auburn basketball program for me not to bring it up right now, how good it is to wake up on a Saturday morning and have the basketball program that we do over in Auburn.
Well, to an extent, there may be some validity to what Luke's saying, but I look at it the same way now that Saban's going to see. I think that they would say it's in the reverse. It's like, shoot, I didn't appreciate it enough, and we don't know how long we're going to have Bruce Pearl. I mean, 5 years, who's to say if he's still going to be the head coach? And so, not that he's going anywhere outside of Auburn, but saying I'm going to, at every opportunity I have, to highlight and talk about the program and where we are, and even if it is the norm, it was not the norm for when I was in college at all. It was not. This was not it. Like, there was 100 people in the arena, so in the Coliseum rather. So I think it's great to get some of the national attention that they're getting around this game with the students, and I think that part is what has really separated Bruce from maybe some programs we've had before. Is just the student buy-in and engagement that you're seeing. I mean, they've been camped out since Wednesday, getting ready for tonight's game. So I think it's going to be one hell of a show.
I mean, that's wild to think that you went on ahead and pitched a 10 after you walked out of the arena on Wednesday night with a victory. And let's start with that victory Wednesday night. It's a great South Carolina team. I've been bragging on them all year. It's a physical South Carolina team that's got a lot of confidence. But they did not match up with Auburn well at all. And when Auburn's shooting the basketball like we did Wednesday night, Scott, it's going to be a tough, tough beat, especially at home.
Yeah, and, I mean, that was that was a top 15 team in the country they just beat by 40. So, there was no qualms about that. And I think it says two things, and I'll answer your question, but just how difficult it is to get a road win in the SEC. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're fortunate to get one on the road, hats off to you. But saying that, the collection of guys that we're getting contributions from now is at the perfect time, and it seems like we've got a rotation of who we like and who's really playing and who we're going to expect to see be main contributors. But as great as we were offensively, the way that we're playing defense and not turning the ball over really is the key to success for me. When you look at somebody like KD, who traditionally has been somebody who may turn it over here and there. He hasn't been. And you look at his plus minus, I think he was 40. It was plus 40 for him against the South Carolina game, which ironically was the score. But anyway, saying all that to say, we're scoring the ball and could have put up more than that probably, just based on how it ended up at the end.
Well, that was a key, and I'll bring that up. 7 turnovers for Auburn against South Carolina. They had 13, so they doubled us up there, and that has been a stat that's been the norm. I mean, Auburn has stayed below that 10 turnover range, somewhere between 5 and 10 for most of the games that we're playing well in, and that is very, very hard to do in today's basketball, where people want to speed you up. They want to, take advantage of maybe smaller guards and Aiden Holloway and get up there and be physical with him. But Auburn has handled that extremely well. Now, if Auburn shoots the ball the way that they did the other night, nobody's going to beat them. Mm-hmm. They were 12 of 20 behind the arc, 60% there. Shot 17 of 19 from the free throw line, so you shot 60% from three, 90% from the free throw line. If Auburn does that, and I'm not saying that that is the norm, that will not be the norm, but if Auburn even creeps up on 8 to 10 made threes a game, this is a team that could go a very long way in tournament play. If they make 3 or 4, totally different team. But if Auburn can continue to knock down 8 to 10 a game, Scott, this could be a special group.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've been waiting on. And I think that Coach Pearl has done a great job of adjusting to the fact that we may not always be able to get to that and finding other ways to win. But I think 8's probably the number. If you're getting to that, and obviously if it's double digits, it's a whole nother ball game. But 7 to 8 threes a game really changes things from a scoring perspective for Auburn, where we haven't been as good from the perimeter as we maybe were during those early runs when this started.
Jalen Williams, Janai Broom was outstanding the other night. Williams with 23, Janai Broom with 21, both with a couple of rebounds apiece. Trey Donaldson's really stepped up his play at point guard. He's taking over that starting role, and he's a big physical player that's been in the system for quite some time. He had 11 points and 4 assists. Chad Baker-Mazara. Kind of an X-factor type of player. Long, lengthy, skinny guy, but can knock down shots, plays physical. Is the imps of K.D. Johnson and Bruce Pearl to me. I mean, if I were to say what would Bruce Pearl look like out there on the court playing, it would be those two guys playing with their hair on fire. They're perfect players for the way that he coaches, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you need that. Like there's everybody has identified their role in this team, and they do it very well. And so they understand at different points when they need to do things a little bit differently or whatever it may be. But the energy that those two guys bring in, it feeds – the rest of the team feeds off of it too, and you see what happens defensively and then how they're able to get scoring done from that.
K.D. Johnson, 9 points. Dylan Cardwell had 8 points, 5 assists, 4 blocks. Dylan Cardwell has played his best basketball in his final year, Scott, and it's needed. And when he's in there, it's not just mop-up minutes, getting rebounds and defensive play. He has turned himself into a pretty good offensive player, and he had one of the highlight dunks of the year the other night.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun watching this group, and like I don't want to get nostalgic and talk about the Harper and Brown days, but like this feels like that type of team, but even more fun to watch. They're even a little more fun. Like that was exciting because it was new and it was fresh and it was a different brand of basketball than we were used to seeing. But now you expect this with them, and it's just so much fun watching them.
Chaney Johnson is improving tremendously. From an offensive standpoint, he's not passing up shots anymore. Mm-hmm. I think you can go ahead and forget about that over the next couple of years. He's out there to shoot the basketball when he's got open shots. He seems to have a lot of confidence. He got a beautiful frame to him. He plays physical. He jumps out of the gym. I'm extremely impressed with Chaney Johnson. I think he's going to keep getting better. He had 6 points the other night. I know that's not but that's 6 points that he wasn't getting first 7 or 8 games. He was getting 6 rebounds first 7 or 8 games, and he was doing some of that. But now, if he were a double-digit point scorer, I'm not going to be surprised if he starts doing that consistently. Aiden Holloway is an enigma right now. But
what's the deal, you think?
I think part of it's mental, but I think part of it's also from an athleticism standpoint, maybe just shock to the system. And I know we're up against a break here, and maybe we'll talk about it on the other side, but he struggles getting – now, if he was knocking down these shots 3 or 4 feet behind the arc, he may creep up on 10 points. But he's not Sharif Cooper getting to the hoop and finding 8 or 10 points around the bucket. Sharif Cooper was a guy that did not have a big physical frame, but he was great at breaking you down, kind of like Kyrie. Top of the lane, I got to make 3 or 4 moves. I got to get to a runner. And he could go and do that. And right now, Aiden Holloway's struggling doing that. That's what I see, and I hope that it changes. But a good thing for Auburn is they've been able to overcome what they probably expected to be maybe their second leading scorer on the team going into the season. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Here are 3 great Chevrolet offers from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Check out the powerful full-size and fully loaded Chevrolet Silverado High Country, discounted up to $13,000 off. Or the roomy midsize 3-row SUV, the Chevy Traverse, discounted up to $8,000 off. And the perfect size Chevy Equinox, up to $7,500 off. No payments until summertime. Over 300 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Welcome in our good friend Luke Robinson on the phone line now. And Luke, we just set up the Auburn and Kentucky matchup. Let's talk Alabama, though. Alabama right in the thick of things in this SEC schedule, too, with a chance to win another SEC championship.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all set up Kentucky-Auburn. I think y'all, it sounds like y'all were talking about the 1990 running Rebels of UNLV. I thought that was a little bit much, but, you know, here's the thing. I think Auburn's good enough to win the national championship this year. I think Alabama is, too, because I don't think it's a great year for college basketball. I think we've got a bunch of teams. Everybody wanted parity. Well, I think we got it. The problem with it is, to me, and this is why I'm not a monster fan of it, I don't think there's any great teams. I think there are some really nice teams out there. And it does give a lot more fans hope. I mean, I think Alabama could win it. I think Auburn could win it. I think Tennessee could win it. Shoot, if Kentucky gets hot with the talent we know they have, I mean, they could win it. Obviously, UConn is probably the best team in the country, but it's not like this monster gap between them and everybody else. Kansas can't seem to win anymore. North Carolina, every time they play on the road, they stink. You know, all these teams, Purdue is good, but not great. I mean, and their recent history of going out in the first or second round tells us that, hey, they may not make a deep run. Some people love that, and I get it. I mean, some people love it because it's going to keep everybody guessing. But at the same time, I don't think we need to compare. I mean, I heard Scott compare this Auburn team to what I think it was 2019 Auburn team. I don't think it's close. That 2019 team would probably bury this team. I mean, they were really good. They were a much better shooting team on the road and at home. And this team is good when they play at home specifically, just like Alabama is good at home when they play specifically. But when anybody goes on the road right now, and I mean this is countrywide, it's like it is so hit or miss. And again, some people love it. I'm not downplaying that. I prefer to have, I do prefer to have a 1990 Running Rebels team or a early 90s Duke squad or something like that. I like that because I love to have one team out there that everybody's gunning for. I think that's a lot of fun. But this particular year is just going to be different. It's going to be a complete crapshoot when it comes to the NCAA tournament, I think. But, yeah, I'm headed down to Tuscaloosa today. I've only been to one other game this year, just because of my schedule. And so I've got some other kids in town, and we're going to head down to the game. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be tough. But at the same time, I also recognize that, hey, A&M's going on the road again. This is an A&M team that lost on the road at Vanderbilt, for God's sakes, last Tuesday night. So it's going to be a tough matchup for them. But the line is only 8, which is a little suspicious to me. Buzz Williams has a reputation of playing really well against Alabama. So they've beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa more than a few times. I think I can't remember exactly how many, but ever since he's been there, it's been a tough matchup for Alabama when they come into town. They just play a different kind of style. And Alabama's a little different when they play at home versus Auburn. They sort of go Jekyll and Hyde within the game. I think when Auburn plays at Neville Arena, it's like they jump on you quick, and then it's hard to get back into it. Alabama sort of toys with their opponents for a little bit, and in fact, their opponents may even have a lead or something at halftime, and then in the second half, it's like they turn it on, and it's just a different squad. I can't really explain it, but this team shoots really well at home, typically. Mark Sears is one of those guys he's a really good player, and you look up and you're like, how did he get 23 points? How is he leading the league in scoring? It doesn't feel like he should be, but he is. If Nick Pringle will just stay within the moment and honestly quit being suspended, I think he can be a nice contributor as well. So this team has a lot of good pieces, and it's a fun team. But I would still maintain that this Alabama team is probably not as good as last year's team. I thought they might end up being better. I don't think they will because Brandon Miller's sort of a generational guy. But I think that that's okay because I think college basketball is down on the whole this year. There's nobody that scares the heck out of me, but at the same time, I think everybody can beat just about everybody.
Luke, Nate Oates, fan base, I know that love basketball and have kept up with it for a long, long time. What makes him as good as he is? Because we've got to really sit back and pinch ourselves at this point here in the state of Alabama on the two coaches that we have. And Nate Oates is becoming, and he has been, but he is one of the better coaches right now that Alabama's had in their history if they keep winning and have the chance to win as many SEC championships as I think he will if he stays there for another 10 years.
Yeah, I think Nate Oates is probably another good year or two away from most people considering him the best coach in Alabama history. Now, that's that doesn't compare to Kentucky history, I understand, but Nate Oates is really, really good. And he's still figuring that's what's the beautiful thing to me about him is he's obviously not hit his ceiling yet. He's still figuring some things out. He's still figuring out some ways to talk and deal with the media occasionally. And he's young. He's kind of new to the spotlight. So I think that's okay. But I really like him a lot. I think he likes Tuscaloosa a lot. I think his family does. I think Alabama's going to do everything they can to keep him. I know that I don't think he's quite as worried about a new stadium as some of the fans are. I think a lot of fans would like a new stadium. They just want something different. And I think that would help, obviously the program. At the same time, the name of the game is NIL right now. And if you have extra money, you need to be putting that towards NIL. And Alabama's recruiting is doing really, really well. They got Aiden Sherrill. They got Darian Reed. They got the kid from California coming in next year. They got 3 really high-profile players coming in. If they can talk Mark Sears has another year left if he wants to use it. I don't know if he'll use it or not. I think that's sort of up in the air, but maybe he can get a good NIL deal and come back. And, boy, all of a sudden then they'd be good again next year. So you definitely want to keep Nate Oates around. I think he's a great coach for Alabama. I think the state of Alabama has the best 2 coaches in the conference. I mean, yeah, and I include John Calipari in that because I watch John Calipari team play all the time, and they keep losing. I mean, they lost at home. They've lost. This is the only Kentucky squad that has ever lost 3 games in a row at Rupp Arena, ever. I mean, that's bad. I mean, that's historic. And so, yeah, do I think that if Nate Oates or Bruce Pearl were coaching this Kentucky team, do I think they would lose 3 in a row in Rupp Arena? Of course I don't. I mean, they can't. They win every game at home, as it is with Alabama and Auburn. And that I love Alabama, and I know you guys love Auburn, and both teams are very good. But I don't think we're going to kid ourselves and say talent-wise we're as good as Kentucky is. They've got like 3 7-footers on that team, and they still can't win at the pace they need to be winning. So I think Alabama and Auburn have the best 2 coaches in the state, and maybe the best 2 coaches in the country.
Quick final question, Luke. I know we'll go a couple of minutes over here, but the final question is Alabama, have you heard anything about a new arena, maybe with a city partner, with an outside group? Is there talk with the city and the school kind of working together with an outside group to get this new arena built?
I mean, you hear a bunch of things. I don't even know what to believe anymore. I've kind of just quit worrying about it. I would love a new arena. I think it'd be great. I think that they need to, pattern some of it after what Auburn's done, pattern some of what some of these other teams do, because it used to be you want the biggest and the widest and the whatever, and that's not what it is anymore. I think you want a more intimate setting, especially when you're talking about Alabama and Auburn. If Alabama has one instead of almost 16,000, let's have one that's 11,500. That would be perfect. That'd be awesome. But again, if I had extra money, and I don't, I got too many children for that, but if I had extra money and if I were giving it to Alabama, I would donate it to the NIL, because if you have the best arena in the country, but you don't have any good players, it doesn't matter. I would rather have our airport hangar and have the team we have or better and win games. I mean, in the end, if somebody wants to make fun of my arena, I can live with that if my team's winning. If everybody goes, man, your arena is top notch, but I can't watch these boys play, that doesn't do me any good.
Great points, Luke. We appreciate it this morning. Have a great Saturday.
All right, guys.
See you, Luke.
Luke Robinson, go ahead and take another break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by Russell Do-It Center here. Russell Do-It Center, one of our AHSAA radio network sponsors, weekly Making Post Male Athlete of the Year brought to you by Russell Do-It Center. So can't thank them and all of our great sponsors on Sports Blitz and the AHSAA enough. Talked pretty much the entire first hour on college or on high school athletics with regional finals coming up here in the next couple of days and the finals going on at Legacy Arena in the next few weeks. And Scott and I and many others have always enjoyed going over and broadcasting those semifinal and final games. We've got wrestling coming to a culmination today up in Huntsville, so a lot of wrestling fans here in this state. It's a big sport. We'll be covering that, but moving into the college side, we've talked Auburn, we've talked Alabama. I wanted to hit on a slightly different subject now, and then Brett Pritchard's going to call in the next segment, and we'll kind of finish up talking Auburn. But some legislation going down here in the state, Scott, and I'm going to kind of kick it over to you. But this could be key for high school sports in the state. This is moving back into the high school realm of things. But school choice is kind of a key topic out there. It's been thrown around for quite some time, back to No Child Left Behind. Was that during the Bush regime? Mm-hmm. And it goes into Obama and others. I mean, there are areas in this country where there's an outcry from parents, I'll say, to make school choice available to them, maybe because they're in a failing school or they're in a school that can't seem to get their stuff together. But there are factors that go along with that you may not look in to see. That's just one side of it, but there's a whole nother side of it. And tee us up on what's going on here in the state and how much it may hurt or help high school sports and schools in general here in Alabama.
So the premise of school choice, and before I go any further, we have school choice in Alabama now. We're probably 15th or 16th, I think, depending on what you see, for the success of it, and that includes things like charter schools, private schools, whatever it may be. So saying that, the topic is to basically allocate $100 million toward these education savings accounts, or ESAs, and so this would allow a family to receive up to $7,000 to be able to go within to help offset the cost of them going to another school. Now, initially, in order to qualify for this, you would have to be 300%, no more, 300% below the poverty level. Like it's like it's really targeted for poor communities or people living in poor communities to give them an opportunity. But as this evolves,
so let me jump in real quick because I'm going to ask some questions while you're talking when I'm confused. 300%, that's the area?
No, 300% like income, household income, like of the poverty level.
Of the area, though, not just the individual. Is it like?
I don't think it's of the area. I think whatever the so if the state, I think it has to probably be state.
It's the personal though. My question is, if you live in an area of the state, let's just say any Conecuh County, or you live in that portion, and their poverty level is at They're not, but I'm just
I
saying,
don't think it matches the area.
It does.
I think it's the individual.
It's
It
the
is
individual.
Yeah,
Okay.
my bad. I understand what you're saying. It's the individual person applying for it. So it would be targeted toward people who are of lesser income, and rightfully so. And I'm glad that this has actually come about because it gives an opportunity, because I'm in the political realm, but not in the same level as the people that are making these decisions. But I think people are entitled to change their mind on legislation. And so I sent something to you about a year ago about kind of a thesis paper I had to write in college about school choice, and I was not the biggest fan of it because I didn't like the concept of taking public funds and applying it to private education. I felt like public education was a right and private education was a choice. Saying that, I had a conversation with somebody, and they said, if you lived in Montgomery, your kid would not be going to any of the public schools in Montgomery. You'd send them to one of the private schools, or you try to figure out a way to get them somewhere else in a better public school system. And in that regard, I do get it. What we're really going down to is the voucher system. That's really what this is all playing out to be. And so I think that from an athletic standpoint, tied it into that way, I think that this is a new – it's not NIL per se, but I think this is going to be ways for you to influence the roster that you have. If you're able to say, all right, look, it'll help you get some housing, or not, but it can apply to help you pay for certain things to be able to get to where you want to go. So, yeah, I think that this is an opportunity where the haves will continue to have, and the have-nots may struggle a little bit. There's still some things that have to be worked out in terms of how this actually rolls out.
Do you have to be in a failing school?
No.
You do not have to be in a failing school.
Not for – so –
You've just got to have poverty income in the household. This is totally based on household income.
Yeah, in terms of the voucher system. Now, it doesn't matter. Now, and if I'm wrong on this, somebody check me on that, but under the current situation where there's the Alabama Accountability Act, I may be saying it wrong, but it's the Accountability Act, that was based off of if you were in a failing school, you could go somewhere and you didn't have to pay to go anywhere if you were in a failing school. I think now it's because it doesn't matter where you are. If you would like to go to a different school, then you're able to do so. Part of the conversation is that people are saying my tax dollars, like I'm paying, so I should be able to send my kid wherever they want to go. And to an extent, I get that. But, you know, if I think it goes like basically saying, from my point of view, if I pay $1,500 in property tax, but you're going to give me $7,000, that doesn't equate. So maybe you're saying the value of a student to that school. I think that's really, it's whatever your value to that school should be, I'm okay with that transferring to somewhere else. If you're okay with that, that's fine. It could hurt places like in Alex City, though, and I don't want to get too
Yeah, bring
deep.
it home. Explain to me how you would see that playing out in a place like here. And you don't tiptoe around the tulips.
All right. I think that in a place like in your Big Fives, you can really justify saying I'm getting a better education here than I would be at somewhere else. There's tangible things you could look at.
Test scores, ACT
there's
scores,
things you
stuff
can look
like
at.
that you would look at.
In Alex City or in smaller communities when there aren't other options, or if there are, they're not necessarily better options. I feel like what it does is start to create segregation academies. And, like, that's inevitably what's going to happen.
It's what's already happened.
Yeah, so when you start to see, like, right now they're on the surface here, they're going for poverty-stricken guys, and just being honest, like, if you're looking at that's going to be more than likely your minority students. So there is an opportunity on the surface.
Higher percentage of the population.
Of the population.
Of that.
Yeah. Let me thank you for clearing that up for me.
Well, a lot of whites in poverty situations too, but I'm saying, but I hear what you're saying.
So that's who would be impacted initially. But as this evolves and they widen the gap and less restrictions on who can take advantage of these vouchers, then you're going to see, I don't like the term white flight, but you'll start to see more of that. So you could easily see, not saying this is going to happen, so nobody's saying that, but like you could see maybe because of the development and the what's happening around the lake, there could be a Lake Martin Academy. I'm just using that as an example. But like if instead of me living in Montgomery and I got a lake house, instead of me living in Birmingham, I have a lake house, we'll just live here and we got enough kids that we could start our own school system here. started on community, it would hurt places like Benjamin Russell, because if that was an option to go, there were people, we just don't have strong enough privacy. There's a couple around, but not the same way you would see in Montgomery.
They're 45 minutes away,
yeah.
or they're, you know, your father-in-law works at one and Chambers Academy's 40 minutes away.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's not in your backyard.
Logistically where it would make sense a lot of times. But if you got one 10, 15 minutes away, I could easily see where that could impact somewhere like us, where we're teetering in that realm anyway. But I think it's very interesting. This isn't a racial issue. I'm not saying that there's racial components of it.
Of course,
but it's not a racial issue. Like, I'm all for people getting the best education they can. I think parents should have the decision to make that for their kids. However, are you doing it to get a better education, or are you doing it because you don't like the people that your kid is being educated with?
I think some of the strongest proponents of this are minority parents that want the best for their kids. I think that's the thing that gets lost in the weeds a lot. I do think that it's the minority parents going, look, can I please, I care about my kid. I want them to do well. This school's failing. It's not fixing it. The numbers are never getting better. They haven't been good for 20-plus years. I think that that's the one thing that kind of gets lost.
It does.
In all of the white and black talk that goes back and forth, is how many out there just want the best for their kids, and they want the best options for their kids, and all of us do too. It'd be nice if there weren't a lot of substandard failing schools. Fix that, but that's not easy to do either. I'm telling you one thing, I don't want the responsibility of trying to figure out how to do that. You and I have talked till we're blue in the face over the years about how to do it, and I don't think we've come up with one single answer.
We've been having the same conversation for 20 years. But saying that, I know we're up against the break, but you, Brett, and I we had a nice conversation this week on a text thread, and there's conversations that have to be had, and people have to get out of their comfort zone to really have them. And I think until you start realizing, okay, like, I'm not, just because I'm saying this isn't my personal view of it, but even if it was, like, it's okay for us to have differing opinions. That's how great legislation is made, is by having people don't fall into groupthink. Like, I think that's very important. And so I think it starts in first the household, but in your circle of friends or your circle of influence, how you talk about certain things changes the perception of it. So there were some things that were said that changed my thoughts on some stuff. I was like, you know what, that makes sense. And
I'm going to run his campaign for governor one day. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. If he hires somebody else to run it, then I'm going to be very upset with him. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Shop presidential savings all month long at Opelika CDJR. Get finance rates as low as 3.9% or up to 15% off MSRP on their most popular models. Only at Opelika CDJR or online at OpelikaFordChrysler.com. Shop presidential savings all month long at Opelika Ford. Get finance rates as low as 0% for 60 months or savings up to $13,500 off MSRP on Ford F-150. Only at Opelika Ford and OpelikaFordChrysler.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's, with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got a couple of more segments here on the program. Got our good friend Brett Pritchard on the phone. Brett, a couple of topics I want to discuss with you this morning. Kind of a shortened segment, so only a couple of questions, but one, AHSAA Radio Network here in the next couple of weeks. You're busy with that. Just give everyone an idea of what's going on with AHSAA Radio Network right now.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, guys. I mean, we obviously look forward to this time of year every year. It's one of our favorite events. And, you know, it's just a spectacle. If you've never been to Legacy Arena to the tournament, I really encourage people to do that. I sure was hoping Benjamin Russell was going to make it. Made it to the regional and faced a really good Helena team that'll play McAdory on Tuesday for a shot at the Final Four there in 6A. But, yeah, the AHSAA Radio Network's our 18th year. It's been a fun 18 years. Looking forward to 18 more. And you know, again, 7A through 1A, girls and boys. We talk about boys a lot, but the girls' basketball, when they get to Legacy Arena, is some of the most fun. I think all of y'all will agree with that. We always see some phenomenal players, and, you know, got a chance to see the same again this year with, you know, the likes of Belle Hill that's basically, if she stays healthy for the next 4 to 5 years, probably will beat Courtney Strain's scoring record. So from Mars Hill Bible, but you know, just to kind of sum it up, it's a fun event. I encourage everybody to come up to Legacy Arena if they can.
Big matchup today. Auburn taking on Kentucky. Game day there, Brett. Your thoughts on the game? Your thoughts on this Auburn basketball program?
You know, what an exciting time. Bruce Pearl's done such a good job at Auburn. It's going into his 10th year. It's hard to believe he's been on the Plains for a decade. And, you know, I went Wednesday night. It was a very good South Carolina team, very physical. You can tell why they were 21-3. They're going to be a tough out in the NCAA tournament because they're just built to play. They're a veteran team, and Auburn beat them by 40. So it felt like Auburn could win the game, but didn't expect that. Today, Kentucky comes in. It's a very talented Kentucky team, but a team that's very young and doesn't really play defense that well. And, you know, if they're not shooting the ball well, they could get run out of Neville Arena today, too. I really feel like that. You know, the students have been out there for 2 days. My son's been camping out for 2 days, going back and forth to class, to work, then come back. And they're in Neville Arena getting ready for game day right now. It's just living the college life. I wish I could be back there doing the same, but it's going to be a fun environment. Auburn's about invincible at home. I mean, it takes a great effort by a very good team to come in there and have a chance to win. And Kentucky has the players, but I'm just not sure they have the experience.
Brett, you got a big event going on today here locally, so, you know, plug that. Feels like a lot of people out there for a chili cook-off, isn't there?
Yeah, it's perfect weather out here. It's about 45 degrees and windy, and at least the rain is gone. And it's fun. Main Street. It's a good day to eat chili and gumbo. Have a chili and gumbo cook-off downtown Alexander City. It's a bunch of teams out here. We're in the chili division. Looking forward to it, and you know, it's just fun camaraderie and support of the town, and just another great event that I think this is the 7th year now for this chili and gumbo cook-off, and encourage everybody to come out at noon. That's when the judging starts, and I think the public, it opens up to the public at noon. I think it lasts till 3 o'clock. So come on out. Hey, just put you some warm clothes on, and it's going to be a lot of great chili and gumbo to sample.
Brett, thanks so much, buddy. Look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, guys. See you.
Brett. That's Brett Pritchard there. Go ahead and take our last break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Fill your tank, not your wine glass. What? Why is there a wine glass in your car? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Last segment of the program today. We've bounced all around, Scott. We've talked about high school sports, Auburn, Kentucky, Alabama and their strong play, state legislation, which is going to come back. And I want to finish it all up with, again, what we started the program with. It was a great run by our Benjamin Russell High School basketball team this year, making it to a regional. I know you're proud as a nephew of your uncle and what he's done with that program. Hopefully some even better days to come, but at a certain point you got to sit back and realize that you've come a long way. 3 area championships in a row, second regional in 3 years, only the 5th regional when you count those two since 1981. Come a long way. It's like being an Auburn basketball fan. There's actually something there worthy of cheering for, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like we've always had strong community and school support for basketball. It's just we're a community our size. It's very cyclical from time to time on who you may get, and your lot of shared athletes, yada, yada. But I think this senior class across the board has been such a joy to watch, from football to basketball, and now they start baseball today, expecting great things for them. They've been one of the more successful after experiencing what was really a lot of turmoil, if we're just being honest about it. But very excited for the future of the Wildcat program, and talk a lot to he's a fan of the show, but like Chauncey Tuck and Brandon Davis and guys. And so I know we may never get to the point of Coosa where we've got 5 championships.
Yeah.
We've been to 8 championship
Not many
games.
do.
But just to be in having the opportunity, you can't get to the Final Four or get a blue map if you're not going to the regionals, or if you're not getting to the Sweet 16 or winning your area championship. So on the surface, they're small things, but we're building a culture and program of where the expectation now isn't just to see if you can get into the area championship games so you can make the playoffs. It's, all right, we're going to win, we're going to host a sub-regional, and we're going to try to get back to Birmingham or Montgomery, wherever the regionals are, and we're going to try to make a run. And I think eventually they'll get over the top, but just getting to this point, I think, sets the stage, and the standard has been set by those guys that we mentioned earlier in the show.
Absolutely. Got a new school being built. One of the topics, knowing that I love sports and love basketball, is a new gym being built there. I think it's going to be a little bit like what we see in Talladega. Am I right? And I just want to tee you up a bit just to give everybody an update on the new school build going on.
Yeah, there's everything is on pace and on par to be complete. You're looking at hopefully completion of 25, with the first school year being 26. So I think that the facilities that are being built now with this new high school will be as comparable to anybody across the state, and we can have this conversation back and forth as many times as you want to, but I refuse to believe, if you don't look at the communities that are investing in their education system and in their athletics and their facilities, doesn't equate to a successful a successful community as well. So Alex City is doing their part to make sure it happens, and I'd like to see some more regional interaction between the city, the county, and maybe even some cities a little larger than ours, figuring out a way to make some things happen. But with the leadership we have in places now, I think that we're right on pace to be where we want to be.
Your thoughts on the game day? Auburn beat Kentucky?
Auburn's going to win. I'm going to go 82-78. I think it's going to be a barn burner, but I think this will be a game where Jalen and Broome have to do what they did on Wednesday, but I'm going to say 82-78.
I said 78-70. Both of us feel a win. That's great. Can't remember a last time that Auburn went in playing Kentucky where we both felt like we were going to win the game. So it's a different day and age. It's a great day and age to be an Auburn basketball fan. Thanks to all of you for tuning in out there here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane too. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.